Hello and welcome to another edition of Fake News with me, Nicholas de Santo. Wherever you are in the world, this bulletin reaches you in your local time. I know it's been a while, believe it or not, right-wing comedy in London and metropolitan area does not pay my bills, so I have been busy doing other jobs as well. If you want to support me, please subscribe to this channel and also go to my Patreon or Ko-Fi descriptions, links in the description. I hope to see you there. And now you can also see me live at Jam for Freedom Festival this August, on the 10th of August. Again, links in the description. Jam for Freedom Festival in St. Albans, Hertfordshire. If you don't like some of the jokes in this bulletin, remember, I have written them on a sloped surface. And you know, it's difficult to work things out on a slope. Now, let's go to the news. Joe Biden has finally dropped out of the presidential race, which is surprising because he had been adamant he was able to beat Donald Trump despite his disastrous debate.
Well, I just had a bad night.
Biden's withdrawal must also have come as a shock to his fans in mainstream media, who until very recently insisted he was in tip-top shape.
Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. Not a close second. And I've known him for years. The Brzezinskis have known him for 50 years. If it weren't the truth, I wouldn't say it.
From the people who also brought you Diversity is a Strength and COVID vaccines work. More on this later, but first, momentous week for Donald Trump, as just before the Republicans' National Convention, he secured the endorsement of a major backer, God. Major questions over why blatant mistakes and oversights led to the failed attempt on his life. FBI promised to get to the bottom of failings as soon as they get to the bottom of who invented the Russia hoax and who forced media to ignore Hunter Biden's laptop. And more controversy over DEI, as among the Secret Service agents, there were women looking unfit, too short to cover Trump, and clumsy with their gun holsters. Defending their hiring policy, the Secret Service said the women declared in their application to be fit and competent. They also declared to be good at emotional stability and debating logically. Now back to our main story. After last month's disastrous debate against Trump, Biden said only God could convince him to drop out of the race. And God works in mysterious ways. So first he saved Trump, the way we discussed, turned his defiant fist into the most iconic political picture of American history, then unleashed the mysterious China virus on Biden down, and just for good measure, God also unleashed on him the devil herself. Now, how can Biden fulfill presidential duties while he admits he can't run a re-election campaign? He might be forced to step down as president as well any minute. So please watch this episode quickly as it has a short shelf life. This episode may expire faster than world sympathy for Israel after October 7th. Too soon? As for the November election, the Democrats' dilemma is a daunting one. Who to replace Biden with? Whether to go for Kamala to galvanize the black votes or to go for Michelle Obama to galvanize the black and transgender votes. Either way, a Democrat source told the media there will always be their bulletproof last resort strategy: 3 a.m. mailing ballots. Both Kamala and Michelle can of course make history by becoming the second female president in US history. The first one of course being Jill Biden. Jill was also the main obstacle to remove Biden from the campaign. We bid farewell to her with this video right after that Air Force One crash TV debate, with a warning that this clip contains serious cringe right from the start.
Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the facts. And let me ask the crowd, what did Trump do? Lie! Yes.
Wow, gentlemen, get yourselves a wife that stands by you after you mess up the way Jill Biden stands by Joe. I can't help but think if Eva Braun was more supportive of the Führer after Operation Barbarossa, maybe things would have been different today. Maybe Germans wouldn't get beaten, raped, and killed by immigrants every day without consequences. And just like that, we are in Germany, which has introduced a new citizenship law where applicants must declare that they recognize Israel's right to existence, otherwise they risk being deported. Meanwhile, foreigners keep beating, raping, and murdering Germans without being deported or sometimes even getting jailed. Indeed, there was outrage after 9 men were convicted of gang raping a 15-year-old girl in Hamburg, but only one of them was sentenced to jail. The 9 men had 9 different nationalities, making this a diversity rape or United Colors of Benetton rape. Well, not really, because there were just the usual 2 colors, if you see what I mean. Although convicted, 8 suspects were spared jail time because at the time of committing the crime, they were under 20. And then a German woman was jailed for calling one of the suspects disgraceful rapist pig and a disgusting freak, quote unquote. So if you are a German about to be beaten up, raped, or murdered by a bunch of immigrants, make sure you ask them where they stand on Israel's right to existence. The good news, they are all against Israel's right to existence. The bad news, they will probably lie. You know, rapists don't have moral reservations about lying usually. They're called bogus asylum seekers for a reason. Dankeschön, Mama Merkel. You'll be the childless woman turned the worst mother of a nation in history. Well, the worst unless you know who wins in the US.
So, I think it's very important, as you have heard from so many incredible leaders, for us at every moment in time, and certainly this one, to see the moment in time in which we exist and are present, and to be able to contextualize it, to understand where we exist in the history and in the moment as it relates not only to the past but the future.
You're watching Fake News with me, Nicholas De Santo. More stories to come, but first, people often ask me, how do you come up with such funny, smart routines? Well, maybe not often enough, but people often do ask me, how do you look so much younger than your age? Well, first, I never smoked. And equally important is moisturizing and a good skincare routine. That's when Tiege Hanley comes in. I think it's Tiege Hanley. There's an accent there on the E. Tiege Hanley is the sponsor of this video, and they offer simplified, no-nonsense skincare for men. I recommend you start with their level 1 or the essential routine, which covers all the basics. A daily face wash to get rid of all the grime and dirt on your skin. A 2 times a week scrub to exfoliate and remove all those dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun, and a PM moisturizer to keep your skin hydrated and healthy throughout the night. I'm more serious and a TV personality, so I also got the eye cream and the firming face serum to firm your skin. Of course, don't just take my word for it, try them for yourself, because Tiege Hanley is sponsoring this video. You can click on the link in the description to get 40% off your first skincare system and a free gift. Plus, as a member, you will get 20% off all your future purchases for life. So don't wait, click on the link to start your journey today. Tell them I sent you, and you tell them by clicking on the link tiege.com/Nicholas De Santo, link in the description. Go check them out. You're watching Fake News with me, Nicholas De Santo. Political impasse in France after the victory of the leftist coalition, made possible after the so-called center-right of President Macron momentarily joined the leftist coalition to stop the right-wingers of National Rally from winning. As a result, there are now 3 parliamentary blocs of equal size who don't agree with each other. Hence the prospect of a hung parliament and ingovernability. If they make their way into the government, the communists of the leftist coalition want to further ease third world immigration into France and even grant a new category of asylum for climate change. Essentially, people will be able to claim asylum for soil erosion, sandy winds, or I suppose very hot summers in Africa. Leftist supporters and violent immigrants celebrated their victory, trashing the streets and setting stuff on fire. Observing the outcome, President Macron said, "Oops, I may have turned France into crème brûlée." Mainstream media said, "No, Monsieur le Président, mostly peaceful brûlée." As France seems destined for more Africanization and Islamification, their only hope seems to be yet again to be saved by America.
Making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Sorry, France, you are fucked. Man versus bear. A debate raged on social media after feminists claimed they feel so unsafe around men that they'd rather live with bears in the woods. But they returned from the woods as soon as they realized bears don't pay for their social benefit checks. Feminists were also disappointed to learn that bears don't support abortion on demand. Bears asked, "Why do you want abortion anyway?" Feminists said, "Because we meet strangers in bars and take them home." Bears said, "That's dangerous. Didn't you just say you felt unsafe around men?" That's when feminists left the woods. Here in the UK, the first official portrait of King Charles since his coronation was revealed. The portrait by the artist Jonathan Yeo is the worst thing done to a king since the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia. Upon seeing the portrait, the British anti-monarchy movement said, "Damn it, why didn't we think of that?" Princess Kate Middleton returned to royal duties with an appearance at Wimbledon tennis tournament and received a standing ovation. The Princess of Wales has rarely been seen in public since she announced she was diagnosed with cancer in March. Her absence from public life has had no impact on the life of British people or their living standards whatsoever. And finally, an Indonesian metal band, Voice of Bassprot, composed of hijab-wearing Muslim girls, performed in this year's Glastonbury Music Festival, a festival run by globalist lefties, showcasing globalist lefty artists and attended by globalist lefty youths. Mainstream media were left baffled over this inspiring story where the Indonesian hijabi metal band, who tick every box of the establishment's agenda, managed to be invited to Glastonbury Festival. That brings us to the end of this edition of Fake News with me, Nicholas De Santo. Thank you for joining me. See you next time. Until then, take care.